Stephanie Vane, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here. Today's video is going to be my fave of the last 4, part 2. If you don't know what this is, it's just where I tell you my favorite books every 4 months. It's something that I started to do to help me pick my favorite books of the year, because every 4 months I just kind of sit down and be like, well, what are the books I've read? Which ones were my favorites? And I do rank them from not as favorite, like my least favorite of the favorites to my most favorite of the favorites. I do love all of these books equally. I have read, of course, a lot of great books, but this is part 2, which means part 1 will be linked down below if you want to know what my favorite books were for the first 4 months, January, February, March, April. And I do have 3 honorable mentions before I get into my top 5. And yeah. So the first honorable mention that I have is The Alpha Drive by Kristen Martin. I love this first book. I bought it. It was just so unique. I love that it's very Matrixy, and it's also a contemporary in its own ways, and it's like dystopian contemporary kind of just smashed together, and I like sci-fi, you know. It's such a beautiful mix of genres. I really enjoyed this. You guys already know I have a review for this. I'll leave it linked down below, but I really enjoyed how much fun this was, and I did already receive an advanced copy of the second book, but I also really enjoyed that. I'll leave the link down below for my review. But it's just such a fun series, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I have to wait so long for the last book, though. The next one I have here is one that I wasn't expecting to love. I was gonna say like, but no, I do love this series. It's awesome. I was not expecting to love it as much as I do. I can't wait to reread it when I think the 3rd and final book. I don't know if it's gonna be a trilogy. I'm counting this as one big old thing, but that would have to be the Red Queen trilogy. I have the bind up of novellas here. I hate that it has this. Kind of annoys me. Super good. But I was not expecting to love the first, and then I loved the second book even more, as much as I did. Victoria Aveyard's writing is really good. The world is amazing. The whole purpose of this book, which is, you know, the red bloods don't have any magic and the silver bloods do, and they have power and like abilities, you know, everyone has like an ability, and it turns out that this red has an ability. I just think it's epic, and I love it, and I can't wait for the conclusion. I can't wait to reread it, because more than likely, I think those Goodreads, those scores are gonna go up. I gave this one a 4 and this like a 4.5, I think. But they're so good, guys. The last honorable mention that I have is a 5-star one for me. It just didn't make the top 5. Endgame, The Training Diaries by James Frey and Nils Johnson Shelton. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because I have the review. You can go see my thoughts there. This is the best novellas I've ever read. It gave you so much behind the scenes on these characters in the series, and it was so fucked up and emotional and just like loved it. It's amazing. I highly recommend. If you read Endgame and you haven't picked up this one, get it. I still need to read Zero Line Chronicles, but it's so good. Now we get into my top 5. Woohoo! I need a water break. Give me a second. Coming in at number 5 is We Knew It Was You. We Know It Was You by Maggie Thrash. This book isn't even out yet. This is one of the 2 books in this list that I got an advanced copy from through the whole Barnes & Noble thing. They were just giving them out, and I picked up one of every one because you could, and because like, duh. I highly recommend it. It's such a funny, very out there, no fucks given type of story about high schoolers and a girl who commits suicide and a boy named Benny who has a mystery club because he's obsessed with like Sherlock and stuff, and he has one member in his club named Virginia, and those 2 fucking idiots, and they're smart, don't get me wrong, but like they're idiots too in their own right, and you know they want to figure out what happened to the mascot and why did she commit suicide, and it turns into such a kooky crazy, outrageous, funny story. Like, it was just one of those things where that is so out there, but damn, Maggie, you did a good job. And it's the first in the series, the Strange Truth series, so I'm gonna like to read more. Characters are awesome. The interactions between the characters are awesome. I like the way the chapters were split up, where it's a day and then the chapter is a day, right? So it's like, let's say May 3rd, and then you have the times and it switches back and forth between some characters, and you really just get the whole effing story, okay? You get all up in their grill. Love it. Oh, it was so good. Number 4 is Crossed by Ali Condie. Why I loved this book is I love the emotions. I love the weight, again, of words and the emotions these characters portray, and like everything mentally going on with them, and just how you're exposed to them and what you see from them. And I just think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. I love everything that happens, and I have no complaints with this. I love how it ended. I can't wait to read the 3rd one, but I'm also taking my sweet ass fucking time because I don't want to finish it yet. But I loved Crossed, and I give no effing whatever when anyone says. I don't think this story is read how it should be. It's different. This is about characters, not just that, but Ali Condie's writing is very beautiful without being like too much. I love her writing, and that's another thing that I like, just brownie points for sure. I love her writing. Number 3 on the list is The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett. This is the 2nd advanced copy. This doesn't even come out till January. I'm so sorry. I keep mentioning this book. It's not out yet. Okay, like, this story for me, and why I love this so much, is I don't think I've ever read about a character like I read Hawthorne, where I kind of really related to her. She's out there. She's very she has a huge imagination. But I love her, like her thought processes and what she goes through. The whole time I was reading, I was like, wow, I like relate to you. You make sense to me. You make me happy. I can get you. I understand you. You're gonna be okay, Hawthorne. You know, like, I had that. And I mean, of course there was things that she did that I was like, okay, you're going a little crazy. But I related to Hawthorne on just like so many levels. And I loved the story, and that, yes, the story is about a girl named Lizzie Lovett who disappears, and about a girl named Hawthorne who wants to figure out what happened to her. But it's more than that, and it's a lot about self-discovery and being you, and being okay with who you are, and realizing the grass is not greener on the other side, and to not wish for other people's lives. It's just so many things, you know, and the fact that you don't really know people. I adored this book. I do recommend this when it comes out. I also can't wait to buy my finished copy to put it on my favorite shelf. Number 2 is, I loved it. I need to read more Rick Yancey. I have a review for this. Again, I'll leave it down below. This one, like, I didn't know it was gonna happen, and I loved it. This is one of those stories where the main focus, I mean, I feel like in the first book it focused a lot on the action and the new world and figuring out what the hell's going on and you being introduced to all of this. The second book is where I thought this series just got really beautiful. And it's about people's emotions, and this is character heavy. These books are character heavy. You rely on the emotions of these characters to drive and push the story. Not to mention the story is amazing on its own to me, but it's the characters' emotions that really make The Infinite Sea and The Last Star, first off, not only unique, but second, just amazing. And it's just, I love stories that have so much weight on characters. I'm a big character junkie when it comes to books. I just thought that The Last Star really encompassed everything. It was a beautiful wrap to the story. I hope there's a spin-off, and because it left me asking a freaking million questions. I loved everything, okay? Like, Nugget is the cutest. Cassie, I adored this book. I loved it so much, and it's just so good. And this has honestly become one of my all-time favorite series. I cannot wait to reread the Fifth Wave trilogy because this is just so beautiful. And not just that, but it was in this book that I also really realized just how amazing Rick Yancey's writing is in this one. It went from really depressing to sarcastic to hilarious, and it just kept going like that. And I love it. I love it. I gave, again, these are all 5 out of 5 stars. And the last one I have for you guys is literally my absolute favorite read of the last 4 months. It has filled my Red Rising gap in my heart right now because I have to wait till the next spin-off. I don't want to wait for Iron Gold, man. Like, why? That is Anti-Darken by Kiersten White. Oh, I have a review for this also. I should have mentioned that. But you guys already know. Anyway, moving on. It was so good. Okay? Leda, Radu, Mehmed, and just like the world. And I love that it's bloody and like it just started okay. So yeah, it's not like every other scene's a bloody, gruesome scene. But when they had those scenes were no jokes. I cannot wait to see where the freaking second book goes because I can just see this only getting better. Like, I feel like this was just preparation for everything to come. So I'm here like, oh, there's more that's gonna happen with this. You know, Leda's not Vlad yet, and well, she doesn't turn into Vlad, but she's like, you know, this is a gender swapped version, rehistoric telling type, a historical retelling of sorts because it's about Vlad the Impaler, but Vlad is Leda. So imagine, we at the point where it starts off from the moment bitch is born and to her, like, and it kind of goes through like little chunks of her life before you get her at the Ottoman Empire where she's a teenager. I love Leda. I thought Leda was such a strong, badass character. Like, like she is awesome as shit. And I loved how soft and sensitive Radu was. And I love, like, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm not sure about Mehmed. I don't know how I feel about Mehmed and like certain love interests, but I love Mehmed. Like, I don't trust him, and that's why I love him. Like, I feel like he's gonna be sneaky. I could be totally off. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. It was so good. I adored this. I thought Kiersten White's writing was really good. It took me a little bit to get into. But shiz, once I was in it, I was gone. I was a goner. I was just like, this is so good. So, again, I recommend all of the books. I recommend every book in the whole world because you guys need to read it because you never know what your next favorite book's going to be. So those are the favorites of the last 4. What are some favorite books you guys have read in the last 4 months? You know, what is your favorite book read of the year so far? I have to say, of course, my #1 choice is still Morningstar. Like, I can tell you right now that's going to be #1 of the year. I, like, already know that now. #2, I loved Voyager. I'm already, like, planning it, but just saying. But I really love it. And I really love it. And I love it. Yeah, but I really like that I'm doing this. I think it's going to be really hard in general to choose my favorite books of the year. This is the first year, and I feel like a really long time where, like, everything I've picked up, except for a few, I've just loved it. Whether it's just, like, love or just, like, I loved it. It was fun. It was good. So many. And, yeah. Those are the books I've read that I've loved. Have you guys read any of these books? What do you guys think about them? Are they on your dislike list? I'm curious. Comment down below. You know, I don't take any offense. You guys can dislike any book. That's fine with me. But I'm curious what you guys think if you've read any of these. And I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.